Well, first, I guess just thank you for all of your wonderful comments. They were all very thoughtful, and I'm going to carry them for a very long time, so thank you. I also am going to apologize in advance because it's the longest speech that I have ever written, but also, since it's my last meeting, I figured, why not? What an incredible 5 years these have been. I'll simply start by saying thank you. Thank you to so many of you who have made these last 5 years worthwhile and productive. Staff, sitting board members, former board members, community leaders and advocates alike, as well as my friends and family who have been there for me through it all, thank you. It truly does take a village. I want to express my appreciation for a few specific people. There are so many of you and so limited time, so please know this is not an exhaustive list. First, to Anand, for appointing me in 2014, for putting your trust in me and for leading the board effectively. It is because of your leadership that I felt I could do this work in the first place. As mayor, you made these meetings efficient, and you always understood my need to balance professional life, personal life, and board service. You believed in me, you listened to me when I disagreed with you, and you worked with me when I really cared about an issue. You have become a friend, and I am grateful for the opportunity to have worked with you. To Kara, for your unflappable work, both behind the scenes and on the front lines. Your job is one of the most difficult and oftentimes thankless jobs anyone can do anywhere, and you do it with great skill, grace, and flexibility. You are responsive, organized, and an extraordinarily hard worker. You have a strong staff who share those skills and work hard to handle the day-to-day tasks of local government. Oak Park is extremely lucky to have you. To the village clerks, former clerk Teresa Powell, who I know is in the office tonight, and Vicki Skaman, your job is vital for transparency and to make government work. Thank you for the time and effort that you put into that. It is very important. To my former board colleagues, namely Colette Lewick, Glenn Brewer, who is here this evening, Peter Barber, and Adam Salzman, I learned a lot from you. To the sitting board members, you have also taught me a great deal, and I have enjoyed the unique challenges and relationships that we have built over the last 2, and in Bob's case, 5 years. Simone, I have always appreciated our shared progressive values and the opportunities that we have had to advocate for them at this table. I admire your fire and your drive, and I know that you will continue to serve this community well for the remainder of your service and however long you choose to do it. Dan, as you said, we don't always agree on issues. I liked the yin and yang. But I really, truly respect you. Thank you. Your positions are always clear, reasoned, and fairly consistent. And that, in my opinion, makes you a really good trustee. Jim, you have been and will continue to be the glue that makes a sometimes disjointed board work. Your thoughtfulness and well-reasoned, non-reactive approach is invaluable, and I am so glad that you have committed another 4 years of service to Oak Park. Dino, people are often surprised to find out that we are not just friends, but good friends. Like Dan, we often do not agree on policy issues, but I know you, Dino, approach your service from the head and from the heart. You have always been respectful, data-driven, and willing to listen. Plus, I like a good battle. I will miss our sparring matches at this board table, but I look forward to continuing them on the front porch. I know we won't be strangers. And to Bob Tucker, one of my running mates in 2015, and my dear, dear friend. You are a solid public servant, and I am honored to have served with you for my entire board tenure. You somehow managed to bring intelligence, pragmatism, heart, and humor to every decision that we have made at this board table. You are also incredibly gifted at outreach. Anybody who knows Bob knows that he is always willing to meet you for a cup of coffee or a beer. I know that this community is going to miss your service greatly. I will miss serving with you, to say the least, but I am so looking forward to nurturing our friendship just for the sake of friendship. to my family, and especially to my children, Sophia and Nathaniel, who I asked to be here tonight, and who are in the front row, and to Adam, who very soon shall be my husband, as well as my stepchildren, Maggie and Roxy, who unfortunately could not be with us tonight. It has certainly been a crazy few years, hasn't it? Sophia and Nathaniel, I know you don't always know what the heck Mommy does up here, but I hope you know that it is important. I hope that my work here will inspire you to serve people and to work for good as you grow up. I hope that you will always value the importance of participating, of sharing your voice and opinions, of democracy, of giving of your time and talents, and of working hard to make the world a better place for all people. It is something our family believes in deeply. Thank you for being understanding when I have had meetings. Thank you for coming along every now and then when I had no other option. And thank you for generally being great cheerleaders. I love you. And Adam has been the absolute best person to come home to after a difficult board meeting. He understands my emotions, my tears, even my anger at times. He sometimes challenges me, which is healthy, but he has also supported me without fail and reminded me to believe in myself when I questioned my own perspective, and sometimes even my ability to do this work. It is a gift to have you in my life, Adam, and I thank you. I am beyond excited for the year, I am beyond excited for our life ahead. Thank you. All right, I wanted to take a moment to reflect on the work I feel particularly proud to have accomplished over the course of my 5-year board tenure. A couple weeks ago, for some reason, this question kind of confounded me. Like, what did I do for 5 years? But when I really looked back, I became in awe of what we as a board have accomplished since 2014. I don't have enough time, nor will I bore you with the full rundown, but I do want to highlight a few things. In 2014, with a newly revamped Economic Development Corporation, this was a really big year for bringing vitality and transit-oriented development to Oak Park, particularly downtown. The Vantage Building broke ground. The Emerson was well underway. We did more, but we did more than just build. We conducted a comprehensive study of fair housing in Oak Park through a community-led advisory board on which I sat with Trustee Bob Tucker and Glenn Brewer, and adopted a long list of new policies to address issues of fair housing in Oak Park. We agreed to incentivize both Pete's Fresh Market and the Sugar Beet Food Cooperative on Madison Street, bringing in a lot of healthy organic food, jobs, and people power to Oak Park. In 2015, economic development continued to boom. We hired John Lynch, who is here tonight as Executive Director for the EDC, and boy did he deliver. Whether or not you like tall buildings or you think the EDC has been transparent enough, no one can say that John has not done his job. We took a very hard look at Harrison Street, trying to figure out ways to clean up the area from buildings in foreclosure and open them up for neighborhood vitality. We chose not to tax medical marijuana. We created an energy aggregation fund, which brought in approximately $1 million since its creation to be used on local environmental initiatives. I spearheaded an effort across all 6 taxing bodies, as well as Forest Park, to create an intergovernmental organization that would address sustainability issues at a broad scale. While that effort never came to fruition, it kept environmental issues at the forefront of our community leaders' minds and ultimately led to the hiring of Mindy Agnew, our sustainability coordinator, in 2017. In 2016, we passed a living wage ordinance. Finally, we adopted a new zoning code for Madison Street to make room for new development and vitality in the otherwise tired and disinvested old corridor. We welcomed developers to Harlem and South and to Lake and Euclid, both of whom gave back to the community in affordable housing units and dollars. We submitted a final letter of intent to IDOT to address issues of noise, vibration, pollution, and other environmental factors for the proposed Eisenhower reconstruction project. Target announced that it was coming to Oak Park. In 2017, we amended the Human Rights Ordinance to create a Welcoming Village Ordinance, one of the most progressive sanctuary city ordinances in the nation and one of my proudest moments on this board. We adopted the single-use bag fee and approved support for the Paris Agreement on climate change, climate change. We hired a village sustainability coordinator. Are we all still awake? We approved the recognition of Indigenous Peoples Day. After much community feedback and discussion, we approved a newly designed version of the Albion development. We chose not to opt out of the Cook County minimum wage ordinance. In 2018, we adopted a new pilot parking program wherein I argued for parking policies that are more fair and equitable for renters in Oak Park. We provided substantive direction on what to do with our growing sustainability fund, including pursuing large-scale solar projects and replacing our streetlights with LED lighting. We granted over $500,000 in affordable housing funds to Housing Forward for rental assistance and interim housing programs, and we approved a major plan development for affordable housing at 801 South Oak Park Avenue. We agreed to make major changes on Madison Street, including a road diet, to make it safer for families and more attractive for developers. In 2019, we passed an inclusionary housing ordinance assuring that Oak Park has a steady stream of funding for affordable housing initiatives, particularly those that serve the poorest in our community. We have pursued and are on the brink of approving a village-wide equity policy. There is obviously still work to be done. But when I look at it this way, year by year, I feel extremely proud of what we have accomplished during my board tenure. It has been a really good run. To the new trustees, Artie and Susan, I am honored to pass the baton to you both. I know you will take this position seriously, fight for what you believe in, and work hard. And to women, how important and needed. My first version of this speech included an impassioned rant on what it meant to be a woman on this board, including quotes from my favorite feminist jurisprudence professor and some of my less than idyllic experiences in Oak Park. To be honest, it was pretty rockin'. But I decided now is not the time for a rant. I will say this. As a woman in government, you will sometimes feel marginalized. Sometimes by men, and sometimes by other women. Sometimes it can feel like your voice matters less, but take it from me, it does not. Do not let the unavoidable implicit bias slow you down. Keep speaking out. Keep coming to the table. Your voice matters. It matters for Oak Park, it matters for other women, and it matters for our daughters and our sons who need our voices and our example. But, to quote the Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you can disagree without being disagreeable. This work is all about finding consensus around policy. Consensus requires working together and finding common ground. To find common ground, you sometimes have to be willing to compromise. To everyone on this board, I encourage you to respect all of your colleagues as equals. Everyone here, board and staff alike, does this work because they care about and they love Oak Park. These are your neighbors. No one is getting rich up here. No one is winning any popularity contest. No one is trying to take over the world or even the community. We all do this work because we care about Oak Park. The relationships you will build on this board with men and women will be unparalleled. And if you're lucky, you'll come out of your service calling some of them your best friends. I know I did. Respect one another and appreciate one another for the service you are all willing to give. I'll end on one final expression of gratitude, and that is to the community at large. For the last 5 years, you have entrusted me to represent you in some of the most important decisions our community makes. Sometimes, as a village trustee, it can feel like the impact we make is small. A simple contract for services, a street repavement, a light post, a decision to budget for a new police car. These things might not feel like they make a big impact. But I know it is the collective impact of our work at this board that matters, and that makes a difference, and that makes Oak Park a safe, welcoming, diverse, equitable, and fun place to live, work, raise our families, shop, eat, and do business. Thank you for allowing me to be part of the collective effort that makes Oak Park such an extraordinary community. This work matters, and I am so honored that you have put your trust in me to do it for the last 5 years. I will miss you all and this work dearly. Thank you, and Godspeed.